UFC 298, Volkanovski, and Topuria. We're here to break it all down, being joined by my good buddy, Jim Malero, and we're going to break down every fight here, give you some predictions, give you some tips. Jim, if I can't make it through the show, I'm just going to have my brother come in and substitute for me, because apparently that's a thing. that's
Great
happened.
idea. Can we get both our brothers? We'll get both our brothers.
Yeah, right. Wait, what happened? Why is Jim's brother doing the show for the rest? So we'll go over the top of brothers and the craziness that unfolded there. But yeah, let's just get right into it. While we're breaking this down, if you guys could do us a big favor, just hit the like button, leave us a comment, tell us what your best bet is for this one. Tell us if you agree or disagree. I don't think I have to tell everyone to leave us a comment if you disagree with the plays, but let's get started here, Jim. Andrea Lee, Miranda Maverick, friend of the show, Miranda Maverick. We've got, what is this, OnlyFans versus Pickles?
There's a lot of theories going on in this one. A lot of theories going on in this one. This is going to be this is a tough call, this fight. I've heard a lot of strong opinions. The question is whether pickles count as a side hustle, I would say, right?
So here's the thing. We have many theories on this show, and they work. These are betting opportunities that work really well. One of them is, as soon as you get female fighters that decide to open up OnlyFans, that is a sign that they are wrapping up their career and probably only have a few more fights. And it's amazing. They don't really do that when they're winning a lot of fights, do they, Jim?
No.
So, and then we also don't like distracted fighters who this isn't their full-time thing. And Miranda Maverick has apparently become a pickle connoisseur, guru. And so she's running her own pickles company now, Prowler Pickles. So I like, this falls under categories of I don't like what's happening with either one of these fighters. It feels like is their head completely in this game. So we know Miranda Maverick. We know her. She's going to try and take down Andrea Lee. Probably is going to have some success with it. I first want to talk about this Jasmine Jasudavicius fight. Every person I hear break down this fight, it's like, well, Jasmine like completely dominated her, which is true, but they leave out the eye poke. And
Always.
so tell them about the eye poke and the like what we just kind of casually miss about this.
Well, we always gloss over it. I mean, it happens a lot in MMA, as we know, whether it's on purpose or by accident. The bottom line is, it is extremely hard to recover from an eye poke. Whether it's a bad one, a somewhat decent one, you're still getting poked in the eye and have to continue to fight. And as we all know, if you cannot see, you cannot fight. You cannot fight to the best of your ability. And this is something that we stumbled upon, and she has mentioned that the second she got poked, that fight was over for her. It was done. She could not see. She couldn't see after the fight. She was worried she was going to go blind while she was in the octagon trying to fight. It's just really hard to recover from something like that. And you had a great cash in the Randy Brown fight on an eye poke. As soon as that eye poke happens, take the other side, because it is an in-action, an in-fight handicap that you never know when it's going to happen, and it's going to affect the fight, period. And just think to yourselves how many times you saw somebody take a bad eye poke and come back and really be their best self. Win or not, they're not the same. It's a different fight after that. And I think everybody glosses over that with that fight. And, you know, we just saw with Jazz. Okay, she's good. But she's not this dominant beast that everybody was thinking after the Miranda Maverick fight.
Now loses to Tracy Cortez. So Miranda Maverick, striking not all that great, but good takedown, good work once it gets on the ground. And then we've got Andrea Lee. I mean, I don't know. She lost 3 in a row, but not exactly. That is a brutal.
So brutal.
So loses to Araujo Macy Barber. That's pretty impressive to get a split against Macy Barber, and then just gets, kind of whooped on by Natalia Silva. So what do we think about this one? Is this a stay away, or do we like the upset? Do we like Miranda Maverick? Do we like over? What do we like?
Personally, and I have put this in my account, full disclosure, is I have the over 2.5 parlayed with another play. I think that's the only way that I want to play this fight. There's too many questions on either side for me. Andrea Lee's going to have an advantage in the stand-up and with the length. She has horrible takedown defense. Miranda's going to have an advantage on the ground. What Andrea Lee has shown is toughness and being able to go 3 rounds. Same with Miranda Maverick. She is not some dominant finishing force. Neither of these ladies are. I think that when this fight happens, you're going to see both women succeed in their own area. So why be on a side with the judges involved in this? Take the over 2.5. To me, it's parlayable.
I like it. Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't really want to side. I mean, the side is it's either Miranda Maverick or, it's nothing. So, but yeah, I like the overs in that one for sure. This next one is a stay away if I've ever seen it. Obana Elliott and Val Woodburn. I would just tell you right now, I'm not going to bet on this fight. You're crazy if you lay minus 300 on Obana Elliott. You are.
Agreed.
You that is reckless. So we watched Obana Elliott on Contender Series, and it was an insane fight. He showed amazing toughness. I can't believe he won. He was almost knocked out. I don't know how many times. You thought he was going to be done. He's got a crazy story. It's really, it's inspiring and everything. But the fact is, he just didn't look that great on Contender Series. And enter Val Woodburn, who got knocked out by Bo Nickel really quick, which is not exactly Bo Nickel's forte, especially in 38 seconds. I watched both these fighters. I see no advantage. I just know that Obana Elliott at minus 300 or 305 is crazy. That's crazy. So, your take.
Do you think the UFC is excited at all about having either of these guys on their roster?
No.
So why put your money on it? If the company that employs these guys cannot be excited, then why put our money on it? One of these guys is going to come out of this fight looking like they weren't supposed to be here. The problem is trying to pick which one.
Right
now, and even the time props, there's so many question marks. So many question marks. Was getting knocked out by Bo Nickel a sign? Was it a lucky punch? Was it? You just don't know. I'm not willing to pay to find out. I will find out for free and hope one of these guys gets a good matchup in their next fight.
Absolutely. Yeah, fade the winner of this fight moving forward. Marcos Rogero de Lima, he's fighting Tafa. Not that Tafa, the other Tafa. So, have we ever seen this before where one fighter is out and by the end of weigh-ins, the brother jumps in and says, I'll fight him? I love it. For me, I leaned de Lima ever so slightly against Tafa. I don't think either one of these guys are great, but I just have a hard time betting on the guy that depends on the one-shot knockout power. I like the overall game of Lima up against Tafa. I'm not saying de Lima's great, but I just thought, leg kicks, neutralize him in the first round. Maybe he can get him on the ground, even though, Tafa's just a big boy. Tough to get down. I liked him against the other Tafa. I really like him against Junior Tafa. I don't think Junior Tafa is all that great. He smoked Parker Porter. Congratulations. But Usman, I predicted Usman would just take him down and lay on him, and that's kind of what happened here. And I think de Lima's a lot better than Muhammad Usman. So I have de Lima going up against Tafa on the short notice. What do you think?
This short notice has swayed me to the under in this fight.
Oh, okay.
So I agree with you on de Lima. I like de Lima's skill set. I've heard a lot of people question him coming back from Derek Lewis's knockout. And I don't think we're going to have an issue. I really don't. People hear like, oh, my teeth were loose. Like, how do you recover from that? Let's be real here, guys. Everybody's teeth are loose after a fist fight. Okay? So this isn't new. All right? Everybody's teeth are loose. Not a big deal. De Lima has so many more ways to win this fight. The question is, can he not get caught on the chin? I do not think Junior Tafa is the better Tafa.
Yeah.
Period. I don't. Yeah. So I like de Lima. What I like even more is this fight not to go the distance. Either Rogerio de Lima is not there and gets clipped, I know Justin Top has been training with, or Junior Top has been training with his brother, but it's a different kind of training when you're the one fighting. He's been in there to help. Yes, they have a game plan. And look, they may be brothers, but these guys' builds are different. They fight slightly different. It's different. You can't just assume that he can just roll in and execute the same game plan that his brother was going to do. So I would be on the unders, and I would lean towards DeLima. DeLima might make it on my card.
Okay.
I'm close.
All right. Ming Yang, Zhang, Brinson, Ribeiro. Listen, I will be honest, and I don't know too much about these guys. And honestly, I didn't look them up that much just because the lines are so crazy. The under is like minus 1,200. I know these guys are big-time knockout artists. The lines are exactly even. And when I have a match like this that is either guy could get flatlined by the other one instantly, I'm not sure there's much value on either side. I think they both look I don't know. I think they both look kind of the same. So I guess if I'm going to take a little sprinkle, it's Brinson Ribeiro. Just because
I would agree.
Just because he's a little bit more pricey. I think I'm gun shy on taking these big time obvious unders after what happened last week with Topuria and British. I mean, it had underwritten all over it, and then it wasn't even remotely close. Not even remotely close to being under. And I wonder if sometimes you get these two bang. Do you remember the Chepe versus Trevor Peak?
Yes.
Oh, that's got to be an
Yes.
easy under. Easy under. Nope. So I'm going to tread very lightly with some of these fights that are the obvious under because I feel like these guys know what the other one can do, and it ends up being a little bit more of a cautious fight. So this is a pass for me. If anything, it's Ribeiro. What do you think?
I think if you want a fun bet and you can get it at a good number, you take it to start round 2. There will be fireworks in round 1.
Okay.
There is going to be fireworks. Zhang is coming off the road to the UFC.
Yep.
We know how we feel about these guys. Kill or be killed. I think it's something we still play going forward. They both have power. I think Zhang... I worry about Zhang, both these guys really, fighting someone who matches their height and matches their finishing ability. It is a volatile fight. Both men can be finished on the feet. Both men have great ground and pound once they get it there. They're not really juggernaut wrestlers per se. Everything about their game is about doing damage. That would, of course, lead you to an under. But as we have seen, if there's an eye poke or a groin kick and we get a 5-minute break, that kind of tends to cool people off. To me, this is a live bet walkout spot. I would not have anything on this fight ahead of time and wait to see what these guys look like making their walk to the cage. This is going to be a huge stage, a ton of exposure, more than either guy has ever had. And sometimes we get those great cues as a fighter is walking out to the ring where something just doesn't look right. We saw it last week. We were watching Urbina live and we just didn't like it. Felt funny.
Yep. Yeah, you're right.
This kind of smells like one of those fights. So I know you guys are here for bets and predictions, but I would wait on this one. I don't think there's enough.
That is a great call. That's a great call. You're right. Urbina walking out, you and I both were like,
uh-oh,
something's off. He's not right. He's certainly not right there. So yeah, could be pretty exciting. I'll be excited to see what face-offs look like, see if you get some vibes from that one as well. Rinya Nakamura and Carlos Vera. Nakamura, just the most insane, crazy favorite on the card. He is probably one from the road to UFC that probably looks the most like a legit, kind of like prospect. That okay, this guy could be top 10. If he rounds out his game, this guy could be, maybe moving up into the top 5. He faces Carlos Vera. Last time we saw Carlos Vera, he was on The Ultimate Fighter. Brad Katona beat him, kind of held him down, won the wrestling and the grappling, which is bad because that's what Nakamura's game is. So obviously Nakamura is a big-time favorite. You would expect him to exploit the takedown and get him on the ground. I have a sneaky play on this one, Jim. The over 1.5 is minus 130. Carlos Vera is a veteran. He has been around. I'm not saying he's great, but I am saying that he is 11-3. He has been on The Ultimate Fighter. He's been in Fury FC. He's got some decent wins. And when I'm looking at this this fight, Rinya Nakamura went to the distance with Fernie Garcia. And when we talk about Fernie Garcia, he's got cardio. He's got some, he's shown a couple fights. He's got pretty good defense. And I just wonder if Carlos Vera is just going to be that tough guy to get out of there. And I wonder if he's going to cause some problems for Nakamura trying to get him down. If he does get him down, if he's just that pesky, just defensive guy that loses easily, like it's 10-8 in round one, but it does go, and then Nakamura just can't quite get him out of there. The other thing is I am venturing to guess that everyone is going to be playing Nakamura inside the distance, and I think it's set up for a disastrous result because no one's going to lay the minus 1,200. So it's like, well, how can I make money off of Nakamura? I know, I'll take him inside the distance. And all of a sudden, the scorecards are like 30-25, 30-26, 30-26, easy winner, and everybody that took inside the distance gets smoked. So I actually like over 1.5 on this fight. What do you think?
Well, I think we can both make money in this fight. I'm one of those that likes Nakamura by finish.
Okay, all right.
However, I don't think it's going to be in round one.
Okay.
I think it's going to be late round 2, round 3. Carlos Vera makes fundamental mistakes when he is grappling. He turns the wrong way. He gives up his back. You cannot give up your back against Nakamura, period. He is going to control him. He will get that back mount, and Carlos Vera is going to go nowhere. So I could very much see this starting round 2. Carlos Vera being very tough to get out of there. But round 2, if that takedown comes early, and he has 4.5 minutes to work, that's a long time, especially when that gas tank starts to go. Vera's skill set is very stand-up oriented. I believe he's going to be very hesitant. His only option in this fight is to come out and try to get this knockout. I don't see him winning a decision at all. So I think that leads more towards that under. If we trust Rinya to stay safe in round 1, maybe get a takedown, keep the distance, not get caught, even if he is losing that first round, which I doubt, it's going to set up good for him in rounds 2 and 3. So another interesting way to play this could possibly be Nakamura round 2, Nakamura round 3. So see what those lines are. I still think it's Rinya Nakamura. I think at some point late round, he is going to somehow get to the back and get that rear naked choke in when Carlos Vera just has nothing left. I don't believe Carlos Vera is supposed to be here. But let's not forget also as well, we were talking about this, Carlos Vera took a short notice fight, and the UFC did not give him another fight. They cut him, straight cut him. Then they brought him back to fight Rinya Nakamura. So again, you tell me who's the setup in this fight.
That's true. That's true.
Read those tea leaves a little bit.
All right. Up next, we have Josh Quinlan versus Danny Barlow. So Danny Barlow is coming off of Contender Series. Nice knockout win on Contender Series. Quinlan's an interesting cat here, man. So is Quinlan on the juice? Because he wasn't on the juice against Trey Waters, and boy, did it show. That was an awful performance against Trey Waters. He gets a knockout against Jason Witt, which I could probably knock out Jason Witt at this point with my left hand. But he took care of business. And then against Trey Waters, he just got pieced up. It was not a good looking fight for him. He looked pretty bad. He didn't have any power. No. Trey Waters, you could tell by the second round, Trey Waters was just like, I don't fear this guy in the slightest. So Danny Barlow is 7-0. He kind of reminds me of we mentioned the Taffa brothers. He kind of reminds me of that. He's got one shot, huge power in that left hand. Was it the left hand of God or whatever it's called? He showed it against Raheem Forrest. My problem is he's fought nobody.
Correct.
Absolutely nobody. So I got a lot of questions. I really don't want to bet on the Contender Series guy who's dependent on the knockout, but I really don't want to bet on Josh Quinlan just because I watched him get pieced up and offer no signs of life in the last fight. I have no idea what to do with this. I have absolutely no idea what to do with this fight. Do you?
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Josh Quinlan is not on the juice after seeing the weigh-ins. We'll see how he rehydrates for the ceremonials, but he did not look like his big monstrous self like he did in his debut. And he didn't look thick. He didn't look big. He didn't look anything. He looked just blah. I wasn't also super impressed with Danny Barlow. He kind of not stumbled, but lurched up to the scales. If you remember Danny Barlow's fight on Contender, boy, was that wild as long as it lasted.
Yep.
I mean, that was wild.
Yeah.
Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but I think one of these guys at the end of this fight we're going to say is a fraud. I'll be darned if I know which one. I don't know which one. But if Josh Quinlan comes out the way he did flat, Danny Barlow can knock him into next week.
Absolutely.
And if Danny Barlow is going to keep his hands down and move forward and try to land that left hand, Josh Quinlan has a fantastic check left hook. He has a great check left hook. And, that left hand to God, I get it, southpaw, you're going to be open for some things that maybe you're not used to. That lead left hook of Quinlan can most certainly land on the button. And I still believe that can knock anybody out. He still has power. But I did not see a big physical change in weigh-ins today to lead me to believe anything from Quinlan.
Okay. All right.
So I think an under's in play. In play.
All right. Jim, real quick, can you check the microphone? It might be brushing up against something.
Oops, sorry.
You're good. All right. Amanda Lemos and Mackenzie Dern. Interesting fight here. You got Mackenzie Dern, who is coming off of the loss against Jessica Andrade, where she really got, struggled. Wins, okay, Angela Hill. Against Jan, okay, pretty decent. She's just alternating wins and losses. She's, one of the more polarizing female fighters for obvious reasons. And then you have Amanda Lemos, who has power but doesn't have volume. Absolutely got dominated on the ground by Weili Zhang. But I gotta say, I went back and watched that fight. Lemos was still throwing later in that fight. Like, as bad as she looked getting taken down and dominated on the ground, she was hanging in there. And it's Weili Zhang. My God, what are you gonna do? Like, girl's a monster. So gets the win against Marina Rodriguez and Michelle Waterson Gomez. So you go back and look at Mackenzie Dern. I just think Mackenzie Dern just gets overwhelmed against aggressive power punchers. I don't think she has an answer for it. I don't think her takedown defense or takedown offense is that good. And Lemos showed pretty bad takedown defense against Zhang. But again, it's Zhang. So I'm leaning Lemos in this one. I think the power just kind of gets the best of Dern. And I know that Lemos probably is not going to throw a ton of punches. I think the ones that she does throw are going to land. And I'm just not sure what Mackenzie Dern's path to victory is outside of just kind of volume. It may be, kind of... I just don't think she's going to be able to take Lemos down. Maybe I'm wrong. I just don't think her takedown offense is that great. I just don't think she's going to get Lemos down. If it's on the feet, then it's Lemos. What do you think?
No, her takedown defense is atrocious. It's not an opinion, guys. Look at the numbers. Look at the takedown accuracy. Look at the amount of takedowns and here's the thing I don't like about Mackenzie. And I've been on Dern. I've made money on Dern. I root for Dern. But I am so over her shooting a panic takedown once she realizes, oh no, I've taken too much damage. If she would just go for the takedown before she gets pieced up on the feet, there's a couple losses that she has on her record that are wins. But she doesn't. Every single fight, she tries to stand with her opponents. And she takes damage. there's never been a Mackenzie Dern fight, except for her very early ones, where she hasn't come out busted up, win, lose, or draw. She's not a striker. She thinks she is. If I'm Mackenzie Dern, I'm not training in striking. I'm training wrestling. And if you check her Instagram, I don't see wrestling training.
Yeah, right.
None. I see striking, and I see the pictures on the beach and all these other things going on. You know, she got her whole personal situation figured out. She looks like she's having a good time with life now. And not that I want somebody to not have a good time, but that worries me a little bit when you're going into a fist fight being too happy. We have our theory happy to be here, and man, does she look happy to be here.
Okay.
She's also taking this fight on short notice to replace Tatiana Suarez. So if you're Amanda Lemos, what are you working on for Tatiana Suarez? Anybody? Anybody?
Yeah, you can't get taken down against Tatiana Suarez. You're done.
Takedown defense.
Yeah.
In those stall positions where Dern is going to shoot a takedown and have her up against the fence, the one thing that Amanda does fantastic is she does damage. She throws drop elbows, short hooks. She touches her opponents during the takedown attempt. And I just feel like, again, that damage is going to build up on Dern, and I think Lemos can get her out of here. I already have a bet on this fight to not go the distance. I just see that both of these women could finish either one in their world.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think that's a real solid bet. I'm not willing to bank on Mackenzie Dern making any kind of improvements, and I'm also not willing to just throw it all on Lemos. If she does get taken down, she will be in trouble. She will be in trouble.
I think I'm with you. I think we've done good betting on Mackenzie Dern. I think she's predictable.
We have.
Yeah,
She's
I think her fights are predictable. So.
Very predictable.
Two guys that I am sad to see fight each other because I love both of them so much. We've won a lot of money on, well, this guy in particular. The last three wins have just been easy cashes on Kopylov. Love the evolution of his game, the patience, the striking, and then Anthony Hernandez. I mean, same thing. Just these have just been great cashes. And now they fight each other, and only one of them is going to come out the winner. Here's how I'm going to try and be positive about it. Whoever loses this fight, we get to bet on them the next time they get a drop down in competition.
Yes, sir.
Anthony Hernandez is minus 250. Kopylov, kind of the big underdog. I hate to have such a strong, confident opinion about one of these guys. I think Kopylov is in so much trouble in this fight. Listen, his striking has gotten better, but we're just going to be pretty honest here. Soriano just kind of stands there, gets tired. Ribeiro kind of stands there, gets tired. Josh Fremd, not exactly a high-paced guy. And you have Anthony Hernandez, who is the opposite of just stand there. His relentless pressure, it's just going to be too much for Kopylov. Kopylov is going to have to land a big one, and it's got to be early. Because once Hernandez gets in the flow, he's just going to run circles around Kopylov. Kopylov's cardio is getting better, but it's not great. And could you say Anthony Hernandez top 2 in cardio in UFC? Top 3?
I'd put him in the...
I mean, Merab's
top
got
five. Top five.
It's funny with Merab on the same card, who's probably in that
and
same
Volk.
one. But
And
Volk,
Volk.
yeah,
There you
Volk,
go, too.
absolutely, yeah. So I think it's Anthony Hernandez. It's minus 250, and to be honest, as a parlay piece, it might be my favorite. It is. It's just Kopylov. The only way to win is to crush him early, and I think Hernandez is too good for it. What do you think?
I agree. I hate that I agree, because I feel like all of us agree. And when everybody agrees, it worries me a little bit. But like you said, this fight is very binary. Very, very binary. Hernandez is just going to march forward. Now, I've heard some takes on Kopylov saying that he could hurt Hernandez to the body, and yes, he's been hurt before. But the problem is when you're constantly worried and constantly in defense mode, it is very hard to target those body shots. Your hands are down. You're worried about the takedown. You're scared about going high, getting caught underneath. I just think this might be a little bit too much for Kopylov. That being said, I do not put it past Kopylov to land a big shot. It's going to have to be perfect. Not just a good shot, perfect. Head kick knockout, just one of those flash KOs. Hernandez has shown that he can fight through adversity. Like, again, top 5. Fighting through adversity. That fight against Vieira, my gosh. I mean, just to get that out of round 1 was an accomplishment. If he lost that fight in round 2, nobody would have been mad at him. Just to get out of round 1 was an accomplishment. But I have to agree. I like Hernandez. I don't like the number straight up as a parlay piece. I think if you can get this down to plus money or even money with another play, that's a great play. And it'll give you an opportunity, I think, to hedge off on Kopylov if you see it going bad early. If you see Hernandez hurt early, have your live lines open and be ready to go. But if this gets out of round 1, it's going to be Anthony Hernandez probably in round 2 or 3 finish, I think. I don't think this fight goes the distance.
You know what? That's a good call to not go the distance. This could be a good fight to not, because if Kopylov's going to win, it's got to be.
It's a good number. It's a good number, too. I don't have it directly in front of me, but I believe it was a pretty playable number.
Merab and Henry Cejudo, there's been a thing floating around social media about some guy in Discord said, oh, I was big on Cejudo, but I'm hearing he's injured and gotta pull out, but don't send this message out to everybody, and then it gets sent out to everybody. I don't know if that's true or not. Don't know who the sources are. I liked Merab before, and I know it's here's what worries me about this one. I don't know anybody on Cejudo.
Nobody.
That's what worries me. Now, that being said, I mean, Merab's, just the amount of takedowns that he goes for. Listen, we're not breaking any ground here. We know what we're getting. Henry Cejudo, the wrestler, come back. Look, close one against Sterling. Merab just pushes forward, tries the relentless takedowns, doesn't even let his opponent even get a strike in or, try and get his offense going. So it's really, does Merab control the fight? And if he does, he's going to waltz his way to a victory. I have no idea what to do about the rumors of a Cejudo injury. To me, it's Merab, and I love to start round 2 or over 1.5 as a parlay piece because, Merab's not finishing Cejudo, and I guess I think Cejudo would have to land a knee on Merab coming in, or do some kind of big body shot or damage, because I just don't think Merab's going to let Cejudo walk him down in the slightest. So I guess my worry is just how many people are on Merab. It's the play. Yeah. To me, it's the play of the card, and that always terrifies me.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. It scares the heck out of me. There's just nothing coming from the Cejudo side that can give anybody confidence in making this play. I mean, I haven't heard a single argument with Henry except the fact that he has an Olympic medal. I'm not trashing him for it, but that is most certainly not a handicapable fact that we want to bet on, okay?
Yeah.
Merab is going to shoot takedowns. He is going to come forward. If Henry is hurt, he's not going to be able to defend them. He is coming off shoulder surgery. So I can't give any kind of opposing view other than Merab by decision. I think it's the play.
All right.
Now, play with it what you will.
Yeah.
I got nothing for you guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested in your thoughts on Geoff Neal and Garry. You get to go first on this one. What's your thoughts?
So I have a suspicion with this one here. Everybody wants Garry to lose. And I don't understand it. I don't understand it one bit. I get because everyone loves Sean Strickland and all this stuff, and I get he talks crap, but every fighter talks crap. Garry is a very cerebral fighter. He's not going to put himself in a situation where if he's winning the fight, he's not going to overextend. He's not going to go for it. He made that mistake one time, and he got away with it. And he's smart enough to know he's not going to do it again. Geoff Neal has always been just meat and potatoes for me. I don't think there's anything that Geoff Neal does that is extraordinary. He's just kind of cruise control. Geoff Neal fights the way he always fights. I think Gary's trying to make a statement I do believe that statement will still lead to a decision, though. If this gets to round 2 and Ian Garry knows that he's winning round 2, you're going to see him just keep the distance, stick the jab out there. He fights really long. We're in the big cage. I've heard a lot of people saying that Neal's going to make it dirty. He's got to close the distance first. We're in the big cage. This is not the Apex. We've had the Apex for a couple weeks now. This is a different game with that space to move. So I like Garry. I like the fact that everybody's picking Neal, and I'm going to be on the opposite side because I've heard a lot of people backing Geoff Neal, hoping that he knocks out Ian Garry. I like Ian Garry personally. I have not bet it yet. I'm going to wait and see what kind of mentality we have at ceremonial weigh-ins and tomorrow.
I love Ian Garry too. He's such a great villain. Like,
I love him.
You gotta have guys
Why
like
do you,
this
why
in the
do you hate
sport.
him?
He's such an interesting talking piece. Everyone should love this guy. Like,
if Geoff Neal was fighting Neal Magny, would we be as excited about this fight?
we watched that fight. It wasn't
Exactly.
good. We already watched it. So here's what I'll say about Geoff Neal. I think a lot of people are betting on Geoff Neal, and they're confusing hope with think. Instead of saying I think he'll beat him, they're like, I hope he beat him. Yeah. So this fight with Neal Magny, I believe it was when he lost to Neal Magny, because it was a horrible fight. It was really bad. So I remember Geoff Neal said that he had some real health problems. He wasn't right, and he got it fixed. Comes back, gets a split win against Pons. That was a good fight. Takes care of Luque, and then puts on a good show against Shavkat. Put on a fought well. So I guess I just don't really I don't think Garry should be this big of a favorite in this one. And I also worry about mindset. I do not. When these guys get in their own heads, man, Ian Garry has given some pretty wonky interviews and just sound bites, and I'm like, is he really that focused on his game plan, or is he worried about what everyone else is saying about him? So I don't know, man. I think this could be a pretty good live betting opportunity, and maybe Ian Garry, this is like the motivation that just puts him over the top as, a force to be reckoned with. And he comes out and just smashes and looks great. Or he comes out and you can just tell he doesn't have it, and he fire away on Geoff Neal. I think it's close. I'm with you. I kind of like the overs. Yeah. It would have to be a flash knockout. I think these guys are pretty evenly matched. So I think the value's in the dog. But I'm rooting for Ian Garry. Mostly because I would like to see MMA bros lose their mind on social media about Ian Garry moving up the rankings and almost getting a title shot. I
actually like the mental approach of Garry at the press conference. He seems toned down a little bit. Like he's kind of taking it all in. He seems toned down. He's not getting in fights with the crowd. He's just kind of saying what he's going to do.
Well, that's
good. That's what
step in the right direction.
He's grown up a little bit.
Oh man, that'll be a fun fight. The crowd should be into that one quite a bit. So, and never forget, this is my biopic. That was an actual quote from Ian Garry inside the ring. That was just one of the most bizarre post-fight interviews. Robert Whittaker and Paulo Costa. Here's my quick take. I think after this fight is over, there's a chance we're all sitting around going, why didn't we lay the farm on Robert Whittaker? Because I think Paulo Costa sucks. I think he's terrible. I think has no cardio. This is a man that I watched Luke Rockhold be on top of at the end of the match, bleeding into his face. Luke Rockhold. And I know Whittaker just lost. It was to Duplessis, the champ. I know he looked bad. Maybe it was a bad weight cut or whatever. But this guy's three most recent losses are to Israel Adesanya and the current champ, Duplessis. So you'll forgive me if I don't take too much away. I know he's getting a little bit older, fine. I think Paulo Costa is on a social media mission to build up his image there. I don't think he particularly cares that much about fighting. If anybody thought that he was actually going to get in the ring and fight Chimaev, I think you're crazy. Like, no, my elbow hurt. I got an infection in my elbow. No way. I think this is, and I could look absolutely foolish. I think Whittaker steamrolls him if it gets past the halfway point of round one, because that cardio is bad. It's really, really bad. What say you?
Well, we're going to look stupid together.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I am 100% with you. I'd love in the comments, everybody take a guess on what injury Paulo Costa will have after this fight. Because something will come out, he will be injured somewhere.
Oh, the great
The
call.
man's been injured for years. For years. I mean, he's the king of the pullout.
Great
I think
call.
I think he's more concerned about the second half of his career as far as being a personality. And Robert Whittaker learned a lesson his last fight. He learned a lesson and he stated it. Like I said, we may look foolish. Maybe his chin is dust. But if this gets to 2.5 minutes of the first round, I agree with you. I mean, Whittaker could pour it on him in round 2 and round 3. And I don't. Paulo Costa will not have Luke Rockhold laying on top of him. He's going to have Robert
Like,
the
seriously.
Reaper Whittaker laying on top of him when he's tired. I have a sneaky suspicion that this fight ends. I know Paulo Costa is dangerously tough, but again, one of these guys, again, we could come out of this fight saying, uh-oh, they might be done. If Robert Whittaker gets clipped and dropped and starched, we might be saying, all right, might be time, Rob. Might be time.
Yeah.
The same thing with Costa. I think if Costa gets finished, we never see him again in the UFC. I think that's the end of him.
Yeah, I mean, look at these breaks in between fights. So he
They're
loses
huge.
yeah. I mean, he his wins are to Luke Rockhold, Yoel Romero, Uriah Hall. I mean, listen, I can't get on him about his losses because I can't say, well, Whittaker only lost to Israel Adesanya and everything, but that performance against Luke Rockhold was an atrocity. That's inexcusable. You can't. You can't have that kind of performance and then expect me to pick you against Robert
And
Whittaker.
I say everything that I say about the fighters with total respect, but you can't improve the damage done to your body. And both of these guys have a lot of wear and tear. A lot of wear and tear.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, we got the main event, Volkanovski and Topuria. Guys, please hit the like button, leave us a comment below, and all of our official plays can be found at wagertalk.com. All plays, man, we got bare knuckle fighting, we've got UFC. This is a fantastic weekend with tennis, with lacrosse, and a lot of really, really good plays. So go check out those at wagertalk.com. We're up 91 units in 2023. Can't wait to break that record in 2024. So really, really excited about that. We got long-term packages, short-term packages, individual plays. So whatever floats your boat, we've got it up there. Wagertalk.com. Let's talk Volkanovski and Topuria. I'll let you go. You have a very passionate and very, very strong opinion on this fight.
I do. When this line first dropped, I know everyone was saying it was such a steal. And I was questioning this. I couldn't buy into Volk after those comments. As this week has gone on and what I've seen, boy, do I think we're getting the Alexander Volkanovski of old here. We are getting a fight. He is one human being that you do not want to give extra motivation. What motivated him in the Holloway fights? People saying that he lost. What did he do? He came out and did it better. Okay? What did he do in the trilogy? He did it again. When they said, do you challenge this man with anything and he will rise to the challenge? Here's the funny part. I think everybody is underplaying the monumental task that was him fighting Islam Makhachev. I don't think we're putting enough stock in this, okay? It is up a weight class, and it is Islam Makhachev. And he took it on a week's notice, whatever it was, drinking, not training hard, still stepped up and took it. His first fight against Islam, I mean, that was amazing. I have so many questions about Topuria and his level of competition, and I absolutely hate the mental space that he is in this week. I'm a bit of a believer in superstition. And for you to go and grab the belt and put it around your waist, yes, it bothers me, but that tells me that you're looking a little too far past somebody. That's not focused. It's not about the insult. It's not about what you think is right or wrong, but that is looking past your task ahead. And if he thinks he's going to knock Volk out in round 1 and wrap that belt around his waist, what is going to happen when it's round 3 and that Alexander Volkanovski cardio and volume is just pouring on? We have no clue what Topuria is going to be like in that situation. None. And it's crazy the amount of love that Topuria is getting. I respect everybody's opinions, but I am on Volk in this. I think this is Volk by decision. I think that he will, if he's in control of this fight, wear this kid out for 5 rounds on purpose to just prove that he's not at a level. Don't tell me that Volkanovski's not motivated for this. He's motivated. And that is a man I don't want to step in front of when they are motivated to do something. Any counter?
The counter is Volk opening up about his personal demons and some of the things that he does to himself when he's not fighting. And I appreciate him saying that, but that was a real eye-opener when he said, like, keep me busy. I'm not good when I don't fight. So, obviously, losing to Makhachev, I don't even that his performance against Makhachev the first fight was one of the best performances from a losing fighter in the history of losing
And
fights.
I still think he won.
It was close, man. It was close. Kudos to him for taking the last fight. He was not ready. I don't know what UFC will never be able to pay him back for that one. So if I'm taking the Topuria side, so he did lose. So he loses to Makhachev in the fight of the century. He had forever to get ready for that one. I think Yair Rodriguez is just stunningly overrated. I've never been a Yair Rodriguez fan, and I thought Volk would humble him and put him in his place, and he did. And then taking that fight, he looked terrible in it. He definitely was not ready for it, and wasn't that long ago.
No.
Is it like, 4 months? Like, not that long ago. So, if he is struggling with the alcohol, and if he's struggling with some of his personal things after that Makhachev fight, 4 months is a quick turnaround, and I do worry about that. Now, one of the rules that we have in betting UFC is you never bet against Volkanovski against somebody not named Makhachev. It's like one of the rules of UFC betting. If Volkanovski's opponent's name is not Makhachev, you don't bet on him. The pick is going to be Volkanovski because I agree that Topuria is. I hate calling guys a championship fight overrated, but listen, Josh Emmett. Little aging Josh Emmett before that Bryce Mitchell. He did exactly what people should do to Bryce Mitchell. And he had the skill to stuff takedowns and knock him into next week. And then Jai Herbert. So maybe Topuria is on that next level. But, man, when I saw Topuria take that belt, I thought the same thing. I was like, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. So the pick is an ever so slight lean to Volkanovski. I will have my finger on the live bet if I think Volkanovski looks slow. If I get the slightest hint that he is not the Volk of old and that maybe some of that stuff is taking his toll, I will be firing away on Topuria. But yeah, pre-flop, it's Volk, and we may see real quick that it's the Volk of old, and then I don't think Topuria is really going to have much for him as the fight goes on. So,
real quick on a technical end with this fight. In watching Topuria, yes, he's got power. He's a great striker. But he relies very heavily on hooks, okay? Mm-hmm. Very heavily on hooks. And as we know, it's always straight punches versus round punches. And straight will win 9 times out of 10. So I think Volk is going to be able to really beat him to the punch. And as long as he can be evasive and not get caught by those big hooks, which not a lot of people have been able to do,
Yeah, you're right.
I think, like I said, I think it's Volk late.
Yeah, that should be a pretty good fight. So, pretty good card. A lot of good fights up across the board. A few good betting opportunities. So, hopefully we've helped you out on that one. So, all right, guys, that is going to do it for us. Thank you, Jim. You're the best. I know you got a dinner to go to. Good luck, guys. We will be on Takedown Live, the YouTube channel, Takedown Live tomorrow, watching the fights live, doing any live wagers, in-fight bets, and all that. Good luck on all your plays. We'll see everyone later.
Take care, guys.